Call me paranoid or schizo. I don't care. But every time I rent an Airbnb, I'ma always check the front doors using that CTO on PS4. Basically, all you gotta do is when you rent your Airbnb, you always look up and see if they got the nearest Walmart. And then all you gotta do is just go to the electronic department and ask them about Crash Team Racing on PlayStation. And then you wanna take it and you wanna set it at the front door and get your liners and make sure you hit it just like that. That's perfect. That's perfect. Look at that. Wow, look at that. And then I always take my lines and I always go against the grain just like that. And then I always hit the other side just like that. And then I wipe off the residue just like this. That's perfect. Look at that. And then I just take my magic magnetic mark and I make my dots as the reference points. Because you just never know. And this method flawless for real. I mean, just look at it. I don't think nobody in regular motion can get past this. Wow. So basically, the first thing I always do when I rent an Airbnb is always go to the nearest Kentucky Fried Chicken and pick up a big case of biscuits. And then I always just set them on the counter just like this right here. That's perfect. That's perfect. And then I go ahead and take my marker and I just make my little dot right here on the top of the biscuit just like this. And then you want to go to the right and make another dot just like that. That's perfect. That's perfect. Look at that. Wow. And then I just make sure I go a little harder so I can make it bold. And then I'm going to just go ahead and take it like this and I'm going to set it at the door and put it in place. And then you want to go ahead and take your marker and you want to make your dots on the door as the reference points. You want to make sure you line it up with your other dots. Cause you just never know. And this method flawless for real. I mean, just look at it. Wow. People always calling me paranoid and schizo, but I don't care. Every time I rent an Airbnb, I always check the elevators. You just never know. So basically all you gotta do is just rub your thumb on the L just like this. Then you wanna rub the 8 just like that. And then you wanna rub the 3 right in the center. And then next you wanna go to that 2 and do the same thing. And then you wanna hit the door close a couple times. That's perfect. That's perfect. Look at that. And then you wanna push number 8, number 7, number 8, 8. Then you wanna go ahead and make sure you test everything just like this. Wow, look at that. And y'all got the nerve to call me paranoid and schizo just because I always check the Airbnbs. Well, you just never know. And this method flawless for real. I mean, just look at it. Wow. People always calling me paranoid and schizo, but I don't care. Every time I run an Airbnb, I'ma always check the light switch in the master bathroom. I just make sure I get me some sugar cookies. And it's that time of the year, so you already know I had to go get me some Halloween ghost cookies. I just take me a little bitty tiny little bite and I set it right up there just like this. That's perfect. And then I just go ahead and I get my liners and I go ahead and I cut against the grain just like this. That's perfect. That's perfect. And then I always go up just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side, just like this. Wow, look at that. Look at that. That's perfect. That's perfect. Then I'm going to make sure I hit the other side just like this. Then you're going to wipe off any residue. Then I'm going to go ahead and get my magic magnetic marker and make my dots as the reference points. Because you just never know. And this method flawless for real. I mean, just look at it. I don't think nobody in regular motion can get past this. First thing I always do when I rent an Airbnb is always go to the nearest grocery store and pick up some baby carrots. And then I just stick it to the light switch just like this in the master bathroom. And then I just go ahead and get my lines and I just go ahead and go against the grain just like that. That's perfect. Then I go to the other side and do the same thing. Just like this. Then I wipe off any residue. And I'm going to make sure I get in a little closer just like that. That's perfect. That's perfect. Look at that. Wow, look at that. Then I'm going to go ahead and make sure I get in tight against the grain. Just like this. You want to make sure you wipe off any residue too. And then you want to go ahead and hit the bottom just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and make a second pass just in case. Just like this. And then you want to go ahead and tighten it up just like this. That's perfect. Then I'm going to go ahead and get my magic magnetic marker and make my dots as the reference points. Because you just never know. And this method flawless for real. I mean, just look at it. Wow. If another motherfucker call me paranoid or schizo, I swear I'ma lose my shit. Quit calling me paranoid and schizo. Just because I like to check the front doors at the Airbnbs using that Ampro Pro style holding jail. Well, you just never know. And this method flawless for real. Basically, all you gotta do is just get your clippers and you wanna go against the grain just like this. That's perfect. And you can tell that it's flawless because every time you try to cut it, you wanna move. That's how flawless it is. And then you wanna wipe off any residue on her just like this. That's perfect. That's perfect. Look at that. Wow, look at that. That's perfect. And then you want to go over on the side and you want to hit it just like this. And then you want to go on the other side and do the same thing just like this. That's perfect. That's perfect. And you always got to make sure you put it back in the center. Then you get your magic magnetic mark and you make your dots as the reference points. Because you just never know. And this method flawless for real. I don't think nobody in regular motion can get past this. Why? Call me paranoid or schizo. On Kurt. But every time I rent an Airbnb, I always check the light switch in the master bathroom. Because you just never know. And I'm going to show y'all exactly how to do this method right here. So basically all you going to need you is a curly fry. Preferably a frozen one. Then I always just set it at the light switch just like that. Then I always get my liners and I always go against the grain just like that. That's perfect. Then I'm going to go ahead and go up on it just like this. Wow. Look at that. Look at that. That's perfect. That's perfect. Then you want to make sure you go against the grain on this side too, just like that. Then I'ma go ahead, take my magic magnetic marker and make my dots as the reference points. Because you just never know. And this method flawless for real. First thing I always do when I rent an Airbnb is always put me a little bitty pile of raisins up on the light switch just like this. That's perfect. That's perfect. And then I get me some clippers and I make sure I go against the grain and I just hit it just like that. Look at that. Then you want to go on the other side and do the same thing. Just like this. Then you want to wipe off any residue. Then you want to flip it over and go against the grain just like this. That's perfect. That's perfect. Look at that. Then you want to make sure you hit the bottom too, just like this. I don't think nobody in regular motion can get past this. Just look at it. And always make sure I hit the top too. And we want to go against the grain just like this with the lever open. And y'all got the nerve to call me paranoid and schizo. Then you want to go ahead and get your magic magnetic marker and make your dots as the reference points. Because you just never know. And this method flawless for real. Call me paranoid or schizo. I don't care. But on the 7th day of the week, I always check the light switch with a number 7. You just never know. And this method flawless for real. So basically what happened was when I was staying at an Airbnb, I noticed in the living room and in the master bathroom that they had some kind of weird little light switch thing that kept on blinking. And then also what I did was I got my clippers and I went on ahead and went against the grain just like this. That's perfect. And then what it did was it started vibrating, shaking everything in there just like this. It started messing up all the signals, so basically all you gotta do is just wipe off the residue and then go against the grain just like that. That's perfect. That's perfect. Look at that. Then you wanna hit the top just like this too. And you wanna make a clean pass at the bottom. Just like this. And then you want to make sure you take your magic magnetic marker and set your reference points. Because you just never know. This method flawless for real. I mean, just look at it. I don't think nobody can get past it. People always calling me paranoid and schizo. But I don't care. I'ma always check the front doors at the Airbnbs using that Friday the 13th Jason Lee's figurine. Cause you just never know. And as a child, Tommy Jarvis did what many others died trying to do. He killed Jason Voorhees, the mass murderer who terrorized residents of Crystal Lake. Years later, tormented by the fear that maybe Jason isn't real or dead, Tommy and his friend make a fateful trip to Jason's grave. Wow, you just never know. Basically, all you gotta do is just get your clippers and you wanna go against the grain just like this. That's perfect. That's perfect. You gotta make sure you get in there tight, but you don't want to get too close. You want to make sure you knock it down just a little bit, just like this. And then you want to go to the other side and do the same thing, just like that. That's perfect. And then you want to take your magic magnetic marker and make your dots as the reference points. Because you just never know. And I don't think nobody in regular motion can get past this. I mean, just look at it. Wow. People always calling me paranoid and schizo. But I don't care. Every time I rent an Airbnb, I'ma always check the light switches in the master bathroom. Because you just never know. And this method flawless for real. And I'm going to show y'all exactly how to do this one right here. So basically all you got to do is just make sure you go to your nearest Walmart. Pick up some oranges, and then you just want to peel one just like this. Then you want to set it at the light switch and get your clippers, and you want to go against the grain just like that. That's perfect. That's perfect. Look at that. Then you want to wipe off any residue just like this. Then you want to make sure you hit the top just like that. That's perfect. Then I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to wipe off any residue up there. Then I'm going to hit the bottom just like this. Then you want to bring your magic magnetic marker and make your dots as the reference point. Because you just never know. And this mess is flawless for real. Wow, look at